Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Well, how much money do you make? We don't ask people that question, but we typically love to know the answer. In this country, we're fixated on a person's annual income. That's the primary measure we use to determine social status and define success. Income is also the qualifier for government welfare programs. It determines who's poor, who's middle class, who's rich. It also determines how much income that the government's going to take from you. The more you bring in, the higher the percentage of your earnings that you're going to pay in federal, state, and local taxes. While we project a lot of things onto someone's income, most of what we project is untrue. Income is not the best indicator of a person's wealth or net worth. Consider these two real-life examples. Last year, Brent's tax return showed an annual adjusted gross income of $20,000. Bill's was $2 million. Who's richer? Well, most people are going to say Bill. In fact, the U.S. and state governments also will say Bill. But actually, Brent is far and away the wealthier of the two. Bill lives in New York, which has both high property taxes and a city income tax. Paying city, state, and federal income taxes plus property taxes on his luxurious home takes about half of his salary. With take-home pay of about $1 million, Bill is spending $1.2 million a year on his mortgage payments, college and private school tuition, and his lifestyle. Basically, he's overspending what he earns by $200,000 a year, 20%. He owes more on his condo than it's worth, and he has significant credit card debt. When you total all of his assets and liabilities, he has a negative net worth of $1 million. He's managed to hold on and keep everything together so far, but technically Bill's bankrupt. Brent, he lives in Rapid City, South Dakota. He's retired, he owns a modest home which is paid for, and he lives on about $40,000 a year. He didn't pay any income tax last year, partly because some of his income is from tax-free municipal bonds, and mostly because he wrote off a large investment loss, which left him with $20,000 of adjusted gross income. Brent has no debt, and his net worth is $5 million. The truth is that what people make tells us very little about whether they are rich or not. In these examples, judging from income alone, it would be easy to reach the inaccurate conclusion that Bill must be far wealthier than Brent. His lifestyle is certainly more lavish, which of course is part of the reason why he isn't wealthy. Many people who have high incomes but are heavily in debt might have lifestyles lower than others who make significantly less but have no debt. It's not uncommon that people with high incomes choose to live a lifestyle that is far below what they could afford. In fact, this is one of the best ways to build real wealth. Income is a poor indicator of whether someone is rich. Even more important, it's a poor indicator of how they handle money. I once worked with a family that had an annual income of around $5 million who had a net worth of minus $3.5 million. They may have looked like millionaires, but they certainly weren't. On the other hand, I work with many clients who have annual incomes of around $100,000 a year, spend $60,000 a year, live on the other, or save the other 40, and are worth $2 to $5 million. The bottom line is that wealth is defined by net worth, not by income. A high income doesn't build wealth. It doesn't mean wealth. It equals a better opportunity to build wealth, though. Not everyone is wise enough to take advantage of that opportunity. Thanks for joining me.